Today, a Super Bowl champ could be on the chopping block, while a fifth-round rookie steals the spotlight and changes everything. I'm Ethan Carter, and the question is simple. Are we trading big-name glamour for actual on-field grit? Torrey Horton is turning into a sleeper and breathing down Cup's neck. MVS is fading into the background. The O-line has a surprise stud in Bryce Campbell-Dew. And if Dalton Risner signs, man, it shakes up the depth chart and the checkbook. Is this a plan, pure chance, or a red flag? Do you trust this kind of hard-nosed pivot? Pay attention, there's a hidden pattern here between hungry young guns and veteran stopgaps, and the next move could either cement this team's identity or crack it wide open. You ready for this? All right, my fellow Seattle Seahawks fans, before we dive into all the nitty-gritty from this Wednesday, I gotta ask you for a solid. If you follow the Seahawks Insider Report, you dig the breakdowns, and you still haven't subscribed, man, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. It helps the channel out a ton and makes sure our passionate community keeps growing and showing the real strength of the 12th man. Appreciate y'all. Can you believe that a fifth-round rookie could be the one piece nobody saw coming, the guy who completely redefines the pecking order on offense? Torrey Horton is doing exactly that, turning into the Seattle Seahawks' worst-kept secret, and all of a sudden, a hot name for fantasy football. With DK Metcalf gone and Tyler Lockett transitioning, everyone, and I mean everyone, expected Jackson Smith-Njigba to take over, for Cooper Kupp to be the veteran anchor, and for Marquez Valdes-Scantling to lock down that reliable number 3 spot. But what we've seen in the preseason tells a whole different story. Horton is showing explosion, sure hands, and a confidence that just doesn't fit the underestimated rookie label. In 2 games, he's already got a touchdown, consistent yards, and most importantly, that feeling like he's everywhere, always ready to make the tide-turning play. This isn't just hype. Mike McDonald confirmed the kid is living up to that famous Steve Smith Sr. motto, a rookie needs 1 play a day to be remembered. Horton's delivering 2, 3. That doesn't just boost the morale in the receivers room, it creates a massive dilemma. Vets are getting pushed, big contracts are starting to look unjustified, and the offense is finding a new identity. Now think like a fan. How many times in Seahawks history have we seen unlikely names pop up and become symbols of the team? A bunch of the Legion of Boom guys weren't first-round picks, but they earned legendary status through pure grit and consistency. Horton has that same smell, like he could be the spark that reignites the offensive flame. And this isn't just about fantasy football, it's about the immediate future on the field, the chemistry with Sam Darnold, and a real shot at earning snaps in critical situations. Do you trust a rookie to carry that kind of emotional and technical weight on offense? The impact goes beyond stats. It affects fan confidence, reshuffles roles, and could even hit the franchise's wallet if veterans lose their spots. But here's the twist. If Horton's rising, who's inevitably falling? This clash between hungry youth and a pressured veteran leads us right to the next battle. On the offensive line, another rookie is starting to steal snaps and unseat a guy who looked like a lock. Who's gonna be left standing to protect Darnold? It's shocking to realize that in just 2 preseason games, a late-round rookie has already managed to shake the foundation of trust in veterans who seem secure on the offensive line. Bryce Campbell-Dew arrived with 0 fanfare, just another name from Kansas projected as a developmental guard, but what he's shown so far is straight-up messing with the chessboard. The Seahawks O-line, a historic source of pain for us, is trying to build a new look with more solid starters, something fans have been begging for years. And yet the real noise is coming from a guy who, in theory, should just be waiting in line. While Satawa Laumea is repeating his mistakes from 2024 with dumb penalties and inconsistency, Campbell-Dew is showing discipline, a physical presence, and a surprising ability to adapt. 2 players, same number of pressures allowed, but only one of them gives you any real confidence for the future. That's the kind of detail that separates a doomed project from a bet that could become a real asset. For anyone who's been following this team, this isn't a new story. The Seahawks have seen backups turn into essential pieces when the season demanded it. The O-line has always been more about chemistry than big-name stars, but Campbell-Dew is putting his name on the map through pure merit, not just because of an emergency. Now imagine the tension for the guys fighting for a spot. You've got Laumia, who hasn't found his footing since last year, going up against a rookie who's supposed to be quietly learning, but is already showing maturity beyond his years. This also sends a warning shot to the other vets on the line because the shadow of roster cuts and shakeups gets a whole lot bigger when a rookie starts shining this bright, this early. The fans are watching and asking, do we finally have real depth, or are we just being fooled by a preseason mirage? And that's where the bigger dilemma kicks in. If the one unit that has bled the most in recent years seems to be finding internal answers, why are the GMs still looking for outside help? The answer might be tied to the franchise's next move, which involves a veteran name who was rated as one of the best pass protectors in the entire NFL last year. Yeah, while Cabell-Dew is impressing on the field, off the field the Seahawks are already moving to bring in some serious weight and pedigree for the offensive line, and the unavoidable question is, what kind of impact will dropping Dalton Risner into this whole equation have? Surprise move or pure desperation? When a team that already seems to be finding internal options on the offensive line, like we saw with Bryce Cabell-Dew, still goes chasing after a well-known veteran, it's not a simple read. Dalton Risner, 30 years old, rock solid in pass protection, 0 penalties, 0 sacks given up in 537 snaps in 2024, is in direct talks with the Seahawks, and that puts the O-line right back in the spotlight. The unit's history of weakness is no secret. We're talking 54 sacks allowed and horror movie stats that left Sam Darnold exposed before he even put on the green and blue jersey. Now, ironically, Darnold might get a boost from the very guy who kept him comfortable in Minnesota. There's something almost poetic about that. Bringing in the guard who was the foundation for your new quarterback's best year of his career. For the longtime fan, the feeling is bittersweet. On one hand, there's relief at the thought of getting an experienced body in there to protect the pocket immediately. On the other, there's that fear that the front office is just slapping on short-term patches instead of trusting the development of their young guys. It's that classic dilemma. Do you invest in tutors who bring stability, or do you let the rookies learn through trial by fire? Risner brings a pedigree and could be a day-one starter, potentially pushing names like Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes into supporting roles. And we can't ignore the money. With over $34 million in available cap space, the franchise has flexibility, but every contract signed shrinks the margin for future moves. What gets me is the timing. Seattle is flirting with Risner right when it looked like Gray Zabel might be able to handle the guard position with some confidence. Does that sound like a plan B, or is it proof that the coaching staff still doesn't believe in the raw talent of its youth? The veteran fan has seen this movie before, with gambles that didn't pay off and vets who just came to collect a check. But Risner isn't just anybody. He's a guy who could actually raise the technical and mental standard of the whole unit. The question is, does his presence transform the line into a strength, or does it just mask a deeper wound? And if the front office is willing to invest heavily in protection, what happens to the parts of the offense still in turmoil, especially the receiver group, where millionaire veterans are starting to lose ground to hungry young players? And what if I told you that a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a guy signed to be an immediate impact piece, could be one step away from getting cut in Seattle? Marquez Valdes-Scantling arrived with the status of a reliable veteran. He reunited with coordinator Clint Kubiak, and he carried the expectation of being that third receiver who would stretch the field. Except in reality, the preseason is screaming a different story: complete silence, a total lack of presence, and the massive shadow of young guys like Derek Young and especially Torrey Horton. Yeah, the same rookie who's already being called a fantasy football sleeper. It's a brutal role reversal where the rookie is creating explosive plays out of thin air and the million-dollar veteran has vanished from the radar. Think about that impact. Seattle could just swallow $3 million in dead money if they decide to cut MVS. It's a tough decision, but it no longer sounds absurd when the difference in energy and consistency on the field is this glaring. The fans can feel that same skepticism. Why keep a guy based on his resume, a guy who offers nothing on special teams, when you have two young players ready to contribute in multiple phases of the game? This is the cruel turn of the modern NFL. A pedigree doesn't hold your roster spot anymore. The thing is, the effect goes way beyond the salary sheet. If MVS gets cut, the message to the locker room is crystal clear. If you produce, you stay. If you disappear, you make room for someone who will. And here's the irony. At the same moment Seattle is looking for a veteran to reinforce the offensive line, it might be clearing out a veteran from the receiver corps. It's like the franchise is trading experience for youth in one position group and youth for experience in another. For the fans who lived through the glory of the Legion of Boom, the memory is unavoidable. Big names have been shown the door before when it seemed unthinkable. And the question that's echoing now is direct, uncomfortable, and inevitable. Is this shifting of weights, young guys rising and veterans falling, a sign of an intelligent rebuild, or is it a sign of dangerous instability? And more importantly, are you, the veteran fan in the stands, ready to accept that the identity of this offense could change this radically, this fast in 2025? So let's tie it all together. On one side, you have fifth-round rookies like Torrey Horton and Bryce Cabeldue showing a hunger, an energy, and a consistency that not even the most optimistic among us expected. On the other side, you have expensive veterans like Marquez Valdes-Scantling and even some other recent prospects getting swallowed up by the competitive tide. And right in the middle of it all, the front office signals that it doesn't fully trust what it has by negotiating with Dalton Risner to bring immediate experience and weight to the offensive line. What's emerging here isn't a collection of isolated facts, but a restless portrait of a team in transition, swinging between youthful audacity and veteran caution. Are we watching the construction of a new foundation, or is this just an improvised mosaic that could crack under the first real test? The answer probably lies in the balance between those who've already proven themselves and those who still have everything to prove, but the feeling is that Seattle is about to redefine its identity by force. So, tell me, longtime fans, do you see this as real evolution or just another passing illusion? Drop a comment below and make your voice heard, because this channel is built for those who carry the memory and the passion of the 12th man.